Welcome to another CSD Fantasy YouTube video. Today we'll be looking at the New Orleans Saints 2017 score projection. All projections are in standard scoring, and if you like the video, please leave a like, it really helps the channel. Now, let's dig in. In case you have not watched any of my previous videos, I start off by looking at the team's opportunity pool. The opportunity pool derives from the 2017 opponents' play trends from the last 2 years and the Saints' own trends from the last 3 years. These two stats combine and will later on be divided up amongst the players to form the market share. So for the 2017 season, the Saints will pass the ball 620 times and run it 403 times. You can see where those numbers come from by looking at the opponents to the left and the team trends in the middle. The passing pool is a huge one, so there's plenty of targets to go around for everybody. For the Saints market share, it is important to note that you can change the player's position and change their expected targets and carries. However, you cannot change the production which is set with their current workload and their current rank in the team. There's plenty of targets to go around, however they are usually spread out, so that's something to keep in mind. When it comes to Brees, there will be a year of many dropbacks as usual. He was ranked as my best quarterback last year and not far behind again this year. But as always, I assume 16 games and full health for all projections. From the opportunity pool and market share, we get 620 dropbacks for Brees with 25 runs and being sacked 21 times. His passing trends heavily favors the sides, but no clear favorite in which one. The deep right is his most productive zone when it comes to yards per throw. All these numbers play a big part in how I arrive at the final projection for the pass catchers and the receiving for the running backs. All in all, my projection for Brees is 166 points from touchdowns, 185 points from his passing game, and minus 1.4 points from his rushing. This gives him a total of 321.6 fantasy points over the year. I felt it better to look at both Adrian Peterson and Ingram together than separately. I right now have AP as my number one back, so he gets the largest workload. I'm not saying that Ingram can do anything to change this over the course of the season or already in training camp, but it is important to note that the projections differ slightly who's the number one and who's the number two, not just with the workload. I have Adrian Peterson going for 72.4 points from rushing, 25.3 points from receiving, and 54 from touchdowns. I have Ingram with 43.5 points from rushing, 7.8 from receiving, and 24 from touchdowns. Their season totals will be 151.7 for Peterson and 75.2 for Ingram. As I said before, this might change before the season starts, so be careful with this pair of running backs. Looking at the three main receivers and their number one tight end, we first have Michael Thomas with 108 targets and 79 reception for a second-year slump as the Saints wide receiver number one. From that workload, he will gain 1,021 yards and score 7 touchdowns. This will land him a total of 144.9 fantasy points in total and compete against the likes of Terrell Pryor. Ginn as the number 2 receiver won't reach the 100 target mark and will only catch 47 balls. He will gain most of his fantasy points from the yards with 605 and 36 points from touchdowns. Ginn will be surrounded by the end of the season by players like Crowder, Shepard, and Mohamed Sanu. Willie Snead could have easily been the second wide receiver in this projection. I have him for 75 targets and catching 60 of those, so once again, he's a beast in PPR. 68.6 points from his yards, but only 18 from touchdowns.
I have him going in standard versus the likes of Kenny Stills while being just behind Randall Cobb. Coby Fleener will once again see a bunch of targets, but will not even be as productive as last year. 98 targets for 42 receptions for only 516 yards and 5 touchdowns. I have him just a little bit better than Julius Thomas while being on Zach Ertz's level with a total of 81.6 fantasy points over the season. To round out the video, let's do as we always do and look at the projections in the light of last year. Brees would have finished one spot below what he did if they would have changed Cooks to Ginn last year. He will still have a great season. Michael Thomas would have been a top 11 receiver with this projection if he was number 1 guy, so there's still a lot to expect from him. Ginn would have been 3 spots worse than he was in Carolina, but he has roughly the same value as he always does. I have Snead dropping some from last year, but this is of course based on him as a 3rd receiver. He can be bumped up. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot. Head over to csdfantasy.com for more charts and numbers. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.